Welcome into the locker room. The last weekend of the league season is upon us. World Cup squads have been announced, omissions have been denounced, and my lot are here to give their take on it all. Coming up on the show, who won't be on the team plane to Russia but should be. We discuss the big names missing out. We'll make our FA Cup predictions, and we ask, what should Gigi do next? We'll look at life after Juventus for Buffon. We have Andres Cordero joining us again. And I'm told that Ray Hudson did his own makeup tonight.
I did, but I want to first of all wish all our Muslim watchers Ramadan Mubarak, and I want to wish all of the Haitian lads and lasses out there happy Haitian Flag Day. How about that, eh?
She started out with your makeup and you went super heavy.
You know, I mean, I'm all flush.
Thank you, Ray. World Cup squads are being announced, and some players have not made the final cut. Players like Jack Wilshere from England, who's been on Twitter to state he believes he should have been in the squad. Now, by contrast, Monaco's Ronnie Lopez, or Ronnie Lopes, as we like to call him here, didn't make the Portugal squad, but still posted a classy response on social media saying he's not in the 23, but he will be part of the millions that will be the 12th man for his nation. So who for you is the biggest omission from the sides that have been announced?
The letter of the two Lopes. Ronnie Lopes from Portugal and Monaco.
Why?
Why? One, Eder, although a little bit of a different player, who scored the winner in the Euro 2016 against France, by the way, in the finals when Portugal won it, is not there. Nani, a white player, isn't there. And Lopes this year for Monaco has been a revelation. Let me see here, 13 goals, 8 assists. He can play on either wing. He can break you down, and he's got great work rate as well. Young, 22, 23, fearless. He could be another older Renato Sanchez, by the way. Whatever happened to him that started some games for Portugal. 10 changes, by the way, for Portugal.
Fantastic.
You know who's smiling? Giroud right now, because Lacazette is not going, baby.
Okay, Tommy, let me ask you this.
What?
You're talking about Lopes. What about Gomes? No, Andre Gomes. That's going to hurt Portugal, isn't it?
Ooh.
Right, yeah. This is going to be such an inspiration to Portugal that Gomes isn't there.
That's
now
brutal.
we've got a great chance to go on and win it.
You're mean, Ray.
I'm just saying what I say.
You're
He's
doing
not
your
a
own
player.
makeup today.
Not my
You're being
type of
mean
player.
about Andre
So
Gomes.
someone who can play fairly regularly for Barcelona isn't good enough to make the Portugal squad?
Fairly regular, like a three-legged giraffe he played for
I'm just
Barcelona.
asking.
Semedo isn't there. All right? Roberto
should be
won't
there,
be there. Semedo, come on.
Gary, who have you gone for?
In the England squad, they have picked 3 goalkeepers who have no experience, not been to World Cups or Euros, and they've left out the one man who actually played 9 qualifiers for them in this qualification, Joe Hart. I don't get it. I understand that you might have him as number 2 and Jack Butland starts, but you need him there for some experience. Why bring other goalkeepers who have never been to a World Cup before? And you might say, oh, well, he hasn't had a good season at West Ham. Jack Butland got relegated with Stoke, so he hasn't had a great season either.
But he was the MVP. He was the best player in Stoke.
Yeah, but he still conceded a whole bunch
He was
of goals.
playing behind a whole lot of crap, Gary.
So is Joe at West Ham.
But would Joe come as number 3?
Passed it.
And is there not an argument to be made that if number 3 is not going to play anyway, you might as well give someone the experience of going to a
He's saying he would love to have been there. And I think if he gets asked by Gareth Southgate, if you said you can either come as a number 3 and I want you to support and I want you to be there for the youngsters and I want you to help, but you have to be on our side, or don't come. Joe would have said, absolutely, I'll go as your number 3. Not a problem.
You use a number 3 as for experience. A young player is not going to start. So I can see that. It's still a weird admission.
It is.
Not the
It's a
only
real
one, by
slap
the way.
in the face,
jinx us
Southgate.
now. We'll get 2 goalkeepers.
Southgate's setting the standard there. This is a new squad, and I really like the way he's turned the page and he's left players like the goalkeeper out of it, and he's trusting it. He's sticking with what got him there. It's wonderful. And for my player, unfortunately, is Lallana. I think this Arsenal, where did that come from? this England team, Arsenal,
much the same.
You're doing it again, man.
England also finished 5th and 6th.
So England, I've lost my train of thought. Lallana.
The Arsenal, yeah.
His situation, he doesn't play for Arsenal. He's screwing me up, man. Right, so Lallana, the one exclusion for this England team is a lack of a real proper midfield maestro. I think Lallana, when he's good, is capable of that. He's class, and it's sad. He's injured, so they cannot really take him. But I would have loved to have seen him in. John Joe Selvey, another one for Newcastle, who I think could have played his way into the game.
Wilshere maybe being the biggest.
Wilshere maybe, but I accept that they're not ready, they're not right, and they move on. And England's got a good, vibrant young team, and I wish them all the best this time.
Perfect. But if we're talking about biggest snubs and the backup goalkeeper for England comes up, we're in the wrong place.
Go on then.
For me, I think you can pick up several names from the French national team, and everybody wants to go to Karim Benzema. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to touch that. Adrien Rabiot was snubbed from this list, and I know that France have some very good central midfielders in N'Golo Kante and Blaise Matuidi, but the players that were in direct conflict with Rabiot for a spot were Steven Nzonzi, who's fine, and Corentin Tolisso, who's fine. I don't know that necessarily, just based on the characteristics, those guys are too different from what they've already got going to the team. And I think Rabiot gives them a different element, a metronome player in the middle. Granted, he's only got 6 caps for the French national team, and he hasn't reproduced his PSG form for France yet. But I do think they've been too sort of short leash with him, because he's been brilliant this year for PSG. After Matuidi left, he started virtually every game for the biggest team in France. And he gets snubbed from where I thought he would have been one of the first players off the bench, and instead doesn't make the squad.
But it's tough. It's tough if you're Didier Deschamps, because you've got a French squad that isn't, it's out there somewhere. So you're going to end up leaving a whole bunch. No matter how you do this, you're going to leave off decent players. Benzema being another one you could look at and go, well, should he be playing? Right. Is he good enough to come in? Could I use him off the bench? Has he got experience? Or is he going to be a divisive player in the squad? So I think it's tough for some of these managers. But I just want to come back to England. I don't think playing a bunch of youngsters is a good idea. I really don't. I think he needs the experience.
The past shows you that, well, what's he got to lose? I mean, compared to the previous England editions, now he's going with the young guns. He's got the faith in them. We'll see if the expectations aren't too high. What the hell are they risking, Gary?
He knows the youngsters
They're playing with house money. They've got nothing, so...
And that's a great point. He used to be a coach of the under-21s. He knows the core group of the team. I like the direction as well. Energy, let's go out, not be stifled by all the pressure. Let's play.
Absolutely. And they're in an easy-peasy Japanese group, so they better qualify Gary Bailey, Mr. English International.
Listen, if we've got Ray supporting England, it's a good thing.
I'm really hopeful and pulling for them.
Can't believe it.
Really
can't believe it. There's a huge romantic event taking place in the capital of England tomorrow. The nation will stop as Chelsea and Manchester United.
I thought you were going to go off.
Don't you worry, not on this show. Who's going to need the win the most in this one? We're going to go round the table, get your predictions, and get a little point for you. We have to start with you, Gary Bailey. Should be no surprise for us.
Yeah, I'm surprised you even look at me for a prediction. Of course it has to be United, but here's a couple of reasons why. We're in very good form at the moment, a lot better form than Chelsea. We're very good defensively, not giving much away. And we have a manager who's staying. So the players have a reason to play. They know they're playing for their places. They know they're playing for next season. Chelsea have a manager who's leaving. They know he's going. So if they play badly, it makes no difference to this particular manager. So I think it's all lining up for United to win. And if they win, it becomes a good enough season. If they lose, it's probably not been the best of seasons.
Does he have to win this? Is there more pressure on him than there is on Antonio Conte?
Well, I mean, it will help him take the pressure off, but he doesn't have to. Finishing second's been okay, but it will make it a lot easier around United if he does get sorted.
Distant second, 19 points back.
Second to second, come on.
Correct. Correct. There's great clouds above both teams. Let's face it. Man United hasn't played good football, squeezing out results. I have no idea how to go line up exactly. And second, all of a sudden, is good enough.
So give me a pick, because we've got the board off.
Oh, my pick right here will be Chelsea. And I think the midfield battle is going to be, you got Moses on the outside, Alonso on the outside, Valencia, Young, where it's going to be win. One, Pogba's been good for you lately, okay? Anybody watching this or not? Or am I just looking at myself, okay? And Matic.
Lift it up.
There we go.
Okay? Your favorite player versus who? Versus Kante as well, and Hazard. Midfield is where the battle is going to be won. 3-6-1 Chelsea, 3-4-3 maybe by your boy Mourinho. Both coaches have poorly performed this year.
I think you're right that midfield is where the battle is going to be won, but there's a lot more destroyers in that midfield than there are creators, and so I fear this is going to be a bit of a chore, just for the neutrals to watch these two teams sort of slug it out in midfield. That aside, who has more to win or lose here? Antonio Conte is leaving, and I don't think winning the FA Cup on his way out is going to secure his Chelsea legacy. I think that was secured when he won the title a season ago. This is a very different side from the one a year ago. They never properly replaced Matic. He's now playing on the other side. They never really replaced Diego Costa, who just won the Europa League with Atletico Madrid. So I'm going Manchester United, who are a better team at this stage, significantly more points, have been better throughout the season. Not the most fun, but neither has Conte's Chelsea been.
And the Newcastle fan over there, where you going?
Right.
Chelsea got beat off Newcastle
3-0.
3-0. So I'm going with Chelsea.
What?
Because
that means...
Yeah, well, that means
because Newcastle's better than Man United.
means
By far.
Right,
There you go.
and Thomas took the words out of your mouth.
I set you up for it.
Absolutely. So I'm going with Hazard, with the verve, and I'm going with Kante over Pogba. I don't think Mourinho will release the hounds at all. I think Conte will, and I think it'll be in that attack. Chelsea's got to show up the defence for sure, but two losing managers. They've not won. They've not won anything all season. They've not won anything. So it's a question of who's got the biggest loser, and I think it'll be Mourinho.
And I'm going to give you the goal scorer because you'll like this. Alexis Sanchez, the winner.
Just like to tell you all, I'd just like to tell you all that I have the casting votes because I can see we are even right now.
Yep.
I am not betting against Jose Mourinho in the
Yes,
final.
we go.
I am going for
Thank
Manchester
you.
United.
Squeak.
Still to come, Diego Simeone's led Atleti to another title, but should he continue his legacy or start a new chapter at a new team? We'll discuss when we return. Welcome back to the locker room. Atletico Madrid are Europa League champions, and it's the second time that Diego Simeone has led his men to this trophy, almost 4 years to the day since he led them to La Liga Glory 2. Now, we're hearing his name linked more and more with the Chelsea job. What should he do next, Andres?
He should stick around. I'd like him, if you want to talk about London and Chelsea, I'd rather he be the Arsene Wenger of Atletico Madrid and stay there for a good decade to come. I think few managers in history, I mean, over the last 10, 15 years, are as identifiable with their club as Diego Simeone is with his. You think of, Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson is an example. Arsene Wenger is an example. After that, you don't get to too many names that fit their club the way that Diego Simeone fits with Atletico Madrid.
And if there's a club in England that Simeone would fit in, would be Man United.
I think Chelsea.
No, more Chelsea. I agree with you.
Chelsea want to be more attacking as well.
United do.
I don't know.
Well, they do.
Frank Lampard, Chelsea legend, likes the idea of Diego Simeone at Chelsea.
You know what? I think he needs to get out for himself because playing in that league, and we were talking about it earlier, they're a fantastic team, Atleti, and what they have done winning the league is almost impossible because they're up against the two best teams in the world. So if he stays every single season, he's scraping just to stay close to the two giants. I think it's time for him to get out and go and make Chelsea into the best team in Europe, because all the time he stays at Atleti, he will be third behind Real Madrid and Barca, or second.
Except he's currently second ahead of Real Madrid.
Yeah, but he's still not top, though, except for that one season.
When they beat Barcelona, or they tied Barcelona on the last day of the season. That's just it. I don't think they're scraping by. I think they beat Barcelona to a La Liga title at the Camp Nou on the last day of the season.
Once.
They won the Europa League 6 months or 4.5 months into Diego Simeone's tenure. They've been to two Champions League finals there.
But can they repeat it?
They lost to Real Madrid in both of those finals. You play La Liga or the Premier League, you're still going to meet with Real Madrid.
That's why I agree with you, Gary. It's time to go. They're the 13th richest club in the world based on revenue. Does he want to look at the elites each and every year and go and scrape? And you know what? Griezmann might be gone. Oblak might be gone as well. Do I have to continue to reinvent and find those players? And by the way, they all come back again. Costa, Torres, who, by the way, might come to MLS. I think it's time for him to go right now if he has the passion. And Chelsea would be the right team right now in terms of personnel and a few tweaks. He could do more, and he will have a lot more money at his disposal to be successful and win a big trophy, which he's not going to win with Atleti.
We're actually sticking in England because there are unconfirmed reports today that Mikel Arteta has agreed to become the next Arsenal manager. Is he a gamble worth taking for Arsenal?
This one is a tricky one. Certainly, I don't think it's the right choice. I think there was a number of coaches that they should have won, but they did it the Arsenal way, the cheap way. With all due, I think they did. You know, they went for the cheapest type of asset that they can find. But he's a good coach. The word is out that this man is wonderful with the players. His tactical know. He's learned under the great Guardiola. But I'm looking at players like, well, you know, Conte for me would be a better fit if he moved across London. That could happen. But Arteta, I think it would be a brave.
He's a number
bold
2,
move,
isn't he?
But
He's a number
certainly,
2.
it's unproven.
Unproven. But let's just have a look at number 2. Carlos Queiroz. Remember him, number 2 at Man United. Failed miserably at Real Madrid. Before that, Brian Kidd was a number 2 to Sir Alex Ferguson. Went to Blackburn, failed. Some people are not number 1. You're not the boss. You haven't got that ability. Plus, a lot of those players at Arsenal, or some of them anyway, were players with him. So you come in as a coach.
Not a stopgap.
Not a stopgap. This is a brilliant move. Reason being is Stan Kroenke owns Arsenal. Stan Kroenke, by the way, owns the LA Rams. The LA Rams hired a 32-year-old head coach who went to the playoffs in American football. And his son is the driving force with Ivan Gazidis. Ivan Gazidis is protecting the brand of football.
And he's got
Stan
that.
Kroenke's son is saying, I want a young, energetic guy, one that has played there 150 times. By the way, Wenger was a no-name when he first came in, so this is brilliant for Arsenal. They keep their philosophy, their playing style, and they get energy.
The thing is, before you jump in, whoever it is that's going to come into this Arsenal job, and I wonder if Arteta's got it in him, they're going to need to kick ass. They're going to have to go to Arsenal. They got away with too many soft touches for the last few seasons under Wenger. Arteta's got to come in and really stamp his. I don't care who's above him and who's beneath him. The situation going into this team is he has to put his brand on these players.
Tough.
The good, easy days are going away.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Now,
tough.
I tell you someone who could.
That type of player.
Allegri comes in.
Does Allegri want to come in and take Europa League football?
I don't know whether he'd want to, but that would be the sort of manager you want to bring. Someone who's done it before, knows what to expect, has got results.
There's a difference between what we want to see happen and what we think will happen. And this to me is a feel-good appointment. You want to root for Atleta to do well. You want to see them play an attractive brand of football, promoting their own guy, somebody who knows the club quite well. It's different in practice when you think Arsenal have to finish in the top 4. Arsenal have to return to the Champions League. Those are huge expectations by themselves. Added even more so when you're replacing a legend. You don't want to be the one replacing Sir Alex Ferguson. You don't want to be the one replacing Pep Guardiola. You don't want to replace Arsene Wenger. This club could fall into an identity crisis, and we don't have anything from Arteta's track record to suggest that he would have managed to fix it.
When Moyes took over Sir Alex Ferguson, I don't think that squad was set up for Moyes to be successful with. It was an aging squad, and it was starting to spiral down. That's not the case with Arteta. He's coming in to take this team up. There's talent there. There's exceptional talent, but it needs to be coached. And evidently, from all the jungle drums that I'm hearing, and the word gets out in football, amongst players, amongst clubs, Arteta is highly, highly thought of
as a
at
coach,
Manchester
but not
City.
a manager. There's a difference.
That's all he needs to do at Arsenal, Gary. All the management, excuse me, Tommy, all the structure of Arsenal now is set. They've got the people who pick the players, they've got the ownership, they need a coach. This guy could do it.
Spaniard from a tough part of Spain, by the way, this kid.
Right.
Believe me.
Still
that's
too
right, Ray
inexperienced
Basque.
for me.
You know.
Okay,
Ray
Major
Basque,
League
Ray
Wrestling
Mouse.
Friday nights on beIN Sports. Fun and wild entertainment that's not to be missed, just like the locker room, actually. Now, still to come here on the locker room, we'll be talking about Gigi Buffon, whose time with Juventus is coming to an end. But what's next for the superstar shot stopper? We'll be back after this to tell you. Our international connection is brought to you by Modelo. Will Gianluigi Buffon be continuing his career away from Italy? Now, he says he's still undecided on what to do next, but there are reports that PSG are interested in his services, and even Liverpool has been mentioned among the rumours. So, Gary, what's the next step for Gigi?
If I was Gigi, I would retire. He's a legend of all legends. He's got the perfect match to bow out. Say goodbye and go and move upstairs somewhere in Juventus and live the deserved wonderful life, because if he goes and plays anywhere else at 40 years of age, will he ever be as good? And I don't even know if him, what I love about him is he's got this this happiness and vibe. Is Neymar going to be comfortable within there? Would the Brazilians accept him? Do the French get motivated by him?
This is if he goes to PSG.
If he goes to PSG.
If he goes to PSG, it will be odd to see him outside of Serie A, to be real honest with you. But Thomas Tuchel, if he can get him, he might be the link to get him to a championship or a Champions League final, so to speak. He's got experience. He's great in the locker room. He's got willpower. He wants to win, this guy. He knows how to win as well. And some players need to be taught that way. I think he'll be great for Tuchel both on and off the field. He might not start all the time, but that's one position they need to get better. Get rid of Trapp, get rid of Areola, and here you go, Mr. Buffon.
You know, even before the reports from the Parisian and Tuttosport linked him with Paris Saint-Germain, I know there have been other clubs as well. There were
Boca Juniors?
No chance.
They were the first ones in for him, man.
Not a chance. There were hints in Buffon's own words. He said not in Italy, so he would leave Serie A, so he wouldn't play against Juve.
Good shout. Good shout that. He could never go anywhere.
Not a minor league. And so that suggests
MLS is out.
Right. Well, that also means some European leagues are out. It suggests to me
there's
the two biggest team trophies that a player could win are the World Cup and the Champions League. Buffon has the World Cup. He has not won the Champions League. And so then you go down the list of big clubs that have a chance to win the Champions League, because no one went to Liverpool last summer thinking they were going to be playing in the Champions League final. And so that Madrid have a goalkeeper, Barcelona have a goalkeeper, Bayern Munich have their goalkeeper, United, if you want to add them, have their goalkeeper, Atletico Madrid, if you know, like arguably the best of the bunch. Paris Saint-Germain are the only place that you can upgrade the goalkeeper position, even though Areola has been good.
Hasn't got a Copa Libertadores. Boca Juniors need a goalkeeper badly. It'd be perfect for him. He'd be able to play in the tournament. Do not go lightly into that dark light. Buffon, I'm with Thomas all the way down. Gary, you know what you're talking about. He has got 2 seasons in him, this man. I can't believe you just want him to go into a happy retirement home, man.
And what if they're bad seasons? What if he plays badly? What if he gets knocked out and everybody goes?
That's not in his vocabulary.
He's 40 years of age.
I don't care. He's brilliant. He's performed brilliantly, and I don't agree with you either, Andy, that he's a flipping. He's not even in the top 4 in Serie A.
Maybe top 4, certainly not top 3 for me.
Maybe
this past season. Well, he wasn't the best goalkeeper at his club this past season.
I think he was.
You think he's slowing down?
Chesney was.
Is he slowing down?
I don't think he's slowing down.
Ray, what
this
matches
much,
you watching?
Gary, maybe this much. But it's what else he brings to the dance, Thomas. For a coach, for a locker room, this is a man, this is a Caesar. Where
Paris
comes another?
Paris need that more so than any of the other clubs we've mentioned. Somebody like that in the locker room.
PSG would be a good fit. Boga'd be better.
Well, that was a good one to end on, wasn't it? Thank you so much for joining us on tonight's Locker Room. We will see you next time. Enjoy the weekend's games.